Tom and I have got big smiles on our faces this morning. We are super excited to welcome you to Steffi Gardner from the Havens right here in Pembrokeshire, joining us on the show this morning. A very good morning to you, Steffi.
And to you. It's lovely to meet you both.
It's so lovely to have you here in the studio with us. And you've brought with us not one, but 5 books, because you're an author from the Havens and you've got a new release out on Saturday. And we've been talking off air, and we're just intrigued as to where these have all come from. And so give us a checkered history as to all of the books and who you are and how these have come about.
Okay, I've always loved writing. And I've had dogs for well over 30 years, mostly miniature schnauzers, but 2 golden retrievers. And we've also got a very elderly cocker spaniel at home who just does her own thing, who is what they call selective deaf. She always knows when there's food about, but does her own thing. And she doesn't really interact with the others. So I was mentioning to Tom earlier that my first book, Charlie to the Rescue, has been on the back burner for about 5 years. And I kept almost seeing in my mind this figure of Charlie tapping me with his paw as if to say, come on, come on, come on. It's about time you wrote about me. And I started to write it, and it seemed to flow. He was born in Pembrokeshire late one night, the last puppy to be born, not a very viable proposition, but the farmer's wife wasn't going to give up on him. And Charlie has, I suppose you'd say, a spirit guide. Some people would say a conscience. And as he grows older and learns to listen, that comes to the fore. And hopefully in my next Charlie book, you'll hear more about his spirit guide. The other books I've written about my rescue are Harry, For Love of Harry. That was the first one. And the second one, Life with Harry. And it tells how adopting a rescue dog isn't always plain sailing. And he was so traumatized when I first saw him, he couldn't even walk. Oh. And thanks to my golden retriever, who mothered him, he was stuck to her like glue for probably 6 to 7 months. And at first, a friend thought he was blind because he wasn't seeing anything. But no, he wasn't physically blind, but emotionally blind, because he'd been through so much, he could no longer cope. He'd shut down. So little by little, has to be at his pace, he's starting to come into his own. He's starting to come now to want to be patted and stroked, but he does not like being picked up. And I respect that. Not all dogs do. Mm-hmm. But certainly Olly, in my latest book, and I had Olly, I thought by chance, but I'm not so sure now. Olly is totally different, extremely outward going, very, very independent, and loves taking things out into the garden, like socks and underpants if he can get them, and towels, but he doesn't bring them back if it rains.
No.
Right? And Olly's dad says, well, you wanted him, it's up to you to go and pick up outside. And Olly thinks that's very good, especially also if he's outside at night and mum's encouraging him to do a wee and he decides he doesn't want to, but he thinks it's fun to see mum standing outside in her raincoat. Yeah, that's a good joke. So it's Olly's take on life as he sees it. Everybody he meets, people, places he goes to. He loves sniffing. He loves to say hello to everybody. And things about his mum and dad, like mum's entered a competition to win a camper van. Yeah, which would be nice in some respects. We could all go together. But actually, I hope she doesn't win, because she has enough difficulty driving and parking the car. And heaven only knows how she'd manage with anything bigger. So it is humorous. And I hope it appeals to everybody. I loved writing them. I really do. I throw myself into them. And that seems to be my genre. I've got another one I'm working on that's completely different, but needs a lot of research, and that's not doggy related, except of course there is a dog in it, but that's incidental. Yeah.
Can't have a dog on there. And they're very palatable books. They're not wordy. They're designed to be pick up and read and have a bit of fun, a bit of escapism. Designed for animal lovers and those that are interested to know what it's, because you're saying jokes there, but That is the reality of having a dog, isn't it? And you look at them and they give you
Absolutely.
that look and that head tilt, and you
Oh,
think, "Don't
yes.
judge me."
And the stink eye, if you're doing something, maybe like grooming them or cleaning their teeth, and they don't want that, they never let up. And they have fruit and vegetables in with their food. But if I'm sitting in the lounge and I'm having an apple, they're there, and their eyes never leave your face. So you always end up showing whatever it is, whether it's a banana, because some of them like bananas. But I wouldn't be without them. They're my world.
Yeah. And everything you've said there, sorry, Tom, everything you've said, I think if you are a dog owner, you can relate to everything. I've been there in the pouring down rain going, go on, have a wee. And they're like, no, you're not wet enough yet. I'm going to play this out for a bit longer.
Yeah. Now they're funny. And this latest book, then, Harry and Me and Crystal Makes Three, is actually complemented with some photographs as well.
Yes, I put some photos, and it's very difficult sending good quality photos over to the lady who put the books together. And I've now realised after so long I wasn't sending them through in high resolution. So technology and I don't always get on well.
They don't mix. You were just telling us about training before we went on air as well. And chapter 3 is called Training. There's a bit of a funny story there as well, isn't there?
Yes, there certainly is, because Olly didn't see why he needed training, because he thought he was fine, and he probably still is, and he will do it if he thinks it's right. And he only started, we almost got thrown out of training class, okay? I wasn't going to admit to it, but I got to be honest, folks, because one of the things all the others did was to lie down on command. He would not do that. He would sit, and the lady in the end said, right, we'll fix this. So she put 2 cones up and a small bar across the middle and a treat the other side, and waited for him to lie down. So he stuck his head under the pole, but his bottom was still up in the air, and decided, no, he didn't fancy doing it. So after 2 attempts, the lady taking the class said, oh, I've never had one like him before. I think you better practice at home. So just to say to you, he did get it in the end, but only when he saw the others were sitting down for treats and Crystal the cocker was lying down. And you could see his brain thinking, oh, she's getting something I'm not. Let's try it and see. So we were fine from that, and he'll lie down now on the beach, unless he sees another dog, and then perhaps he wants to say hello. But he's very good now at coming back.
Oh, fantastic. Well, the back of the book, join us in Olly's whimsical world as he shares his unique perspective on life in his own words. It's a tale that will warm your heart and leave you smiling from ear to ear. If people are interested in getting their hands on this book, where can they go?
Victoria Bookshop, for a start. I must admit, they've been really, really marvellous, I'd say, at letting me come and do signings, which is great. And then the lady who publishes the books will probably at some stage put them on Amazon. But yes, Marley at Victoria Bookshop's your first stop.
Amazing. And you're going to be there on Saturday?
I am indeed, from about 10:30 to 12ish. So if you do come down, please come and say hello.
Yeah, go and say hello to Steffi. Get your hand on one of these books. A perfect gift for Christmas, Gina, I'm thinking.
I was going to say that, indeed, yes. And one of our listeners here, an avid listener to the G&T Breakfast Show, Mo Pulford. Mo, you're going to love these books. I can't wait to read these books. I'm not a great reader, but the books just sound so fun. And yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on one.
They really do. I can't wait. Thank you so much for coming in this morning and sharing your books with us, and hope that it goes really well on Saturday and beyond. But it's not your first time listening to Pure West Radio and being involved. You're a regular weekend listener.
I am indeed, especially on a Sunday morning.
And what do you listen to on a Sunday morning?
Oh, guess.
Oh, what do you think, Gina, on a Sunday morning?
Well, there's another show which I really enjoy on a Sunday morning. Could it be Peter Milburn?
Oh, yes.
Peter Milburn's Sentimental Journey.
Yes, definitely. I love it.
Yeah, yes. Every Sunday morning, 6 till 8 o'clock. It's a lovely throwback to tunes from yesterday, and none of this dancey stuff that we play every now and then. What music do you like from that era?
It's a mix. I think maybe certain songs more than anything, because they bring back memories.
which is exactly the purpose of that show. He says that saying that a song can bring back many memories, and you're testament to that as well. Then, and these memories, keeping your dogs here and now in the present as well through these books as well is amazing. And well, if 6 to 8 a.m. is too early for you on a Sunday morning, you can catch up at purewestradio.com. Now, 2 hours of wonderful music through the eras to bring back those wonderful memories. And I've got a song lined up for us, which is kind of from that era. We've been talking about dogs. Can you guess what it is?
Me?
Yeah, go on, Stefan. What do you
Let's think. Could it be How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?
Would I be that obvious?
Possibly, yes. Just before we go, so Steffi, you're going to be at Victoria Bookshop this Saturday between 10:30 and 12. And if you can't make it this Saturday, you're going to be at Oriella Park on the 2nd of December as well.
That's right, yes.
Fabulous.
Fantastic.
Right
Steffi,
then, are you ready?
I'm ready. Have I been that obvious? Of course I have. Steffi, thank you so much for joining us here this morning on Pure West Radio.
Thank you for letting me come. It's been brilliant.
That dog in the window.
Woof!